Welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller, and I'm so happy to have one of my heroes on, Alex Smith, your starting quarterback for the Washington football team and the NFL Comeback Player of the Year. Alex, how are you?
I'm doing good, Randy. Thanks for having me.
And the guy that taught Patrick Mahomes everything he knows.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I wish.
You're in California?
I'm actually still out in the DC area. So our kids are old enough at this point that they're going to school. So we're here still trying to take advantage of that. Hopefully escape to some warmer weather soon. Yeah.
You grew up in La Mesa?
I grew up, close to La Mesa. I went to high school in La Mesa, but there in South Bay, San Diego. And and then went to high school there in La Mesa.
I was in radio in San Diego twice and lived in El Cajon once. And then the next time I lived in Rancho Santa Fe in somebody else's house.
Okay. All right.
So the Rancho Santa Fe experience was much better.
I was going to say a little different than El Cajon.
Yeah. Man, it is so it's so ironic that we're talking today right after Tiger Woods' injury with his legs.
Yep.
And was that a little sense of deja vu for you?
You know, it just makes me think about that time in the hospital, with me and my family. And obviously there's so many unknowns. You're going through things that you never imagined you would be. There's so much doubt about your future. And obviously a lot of speculation out there and way more with Tiger than there was with me. I mean, as you can imagine, he's Tiger Woods. And so, yeah, just what a hard time that is. Obviously everybody is speculating out there about, his life and his golf game, which obviously is pretty significant at this point, in the big picture. And so, yeah. And how important, I think for me, how important privacy was at that point. How much I respected that, having that privacy, because it is such a delicate time right now for him and his family. And obviously just from afar, wishing him well in the recovery. And it looks like obviously it's going to be a lengthy road. And so,
absolutely,
and he has little kids. And I remember, for me, that was priority, just like all the things that I had done with my kids that I thought I might never be able to do again. And simple things,
Yeah. I mean, you weren't supposed to walk again.
Yeah.
Right?
And so you just wonder, like, am I ever going to be able to chase my kids around? Am I ever going to be able to go out and play catch and shoot hoops and, just like go on trips and walks and hikes and so many things that you just had taken for granted. So that right now is just where my heart and mind is with him. And certainly, obviously, hoping that he gets those things back. Yeah.
Well, and your compound fracture that you got from the tackle, which led then to the sepsis and 17 surgeries, man. I mean, to mentally get through that, I think I read somewhere where your wife said if she had the option, she would have had her leg amputated.
Yeah, I still give her a hard time about that. Luckily, no, yeah. I mean, it was hard, and obviously, and I think that I was naive to that fact. I had a compound fracture, and you go in for emergency surgery, you just have no idea the infection risk, and there's so many things, there's so many unknowns that are going on, and mine didn't creep up until several days. I'd already been in the hospital a few days, so like I said, just wishing him well on all those fronts, and yeah, it was a crazy road, and like I said, so as you can imagine, my wife dealing with, I was out of consciousness when she's dealing with most of that and trying to balance a household and 3 little kids and, my health, and she's spending every night in the hospital and then has these major decisions in front of her. And again, I think that just goes back to how much I think we appreciated privacy and obviously trying to deal with that and make the tough decisions.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because we're based in Kansas City, so I've been an Alex Smith guy for a long time. But it was kind of weird after the tackle and after the injury. Then we didn't hear anything for like a long time.
Yep. A long time. Right? Yeah. Yep.
And that's I guess that's that privacy part came in very handy. And the cool deal about you were given this rare opportunity to rehab at a military facility, right?
Yep. Yeah, and that was kind of all was going on at the same time. It was still very early on when I was in the hospital, and obviously the infection had set in, and I'd had numerous debridements at that point, and I had elected to have limb salvage procedures to try and save my leg. And it was at that point, so I was still in kind of, I'd been in the hospital a couple of weeks, and obviously still had a couple of weeks left ahead of me. And that's when already, I'm so thankful, our team doctor, Dr. Robin West, had reached out to the Center for the Intrepid through Johnny Owens, who was the longtime physical therapist down there, and made the link. And that's when I found out about this. It's called the Secretary of Defense designation, and it's for civilians that are deemed to have warlike injuries. And it was basically a win-win. I got to go and have access to the best of the best care. These are experts at limb injuries and rehab, and they got to study me in the process, and they're trying to obviously stay sharp on their game as well. So I'm so thankful for that, because it absolutely changed my life and certainly my recovery. And that was when I was still
the veterans kind of got you through that, right?
Well, so on two fronts, it was so nice. Obviously, I had my team of doctors here that performed all my surgeries and saved my leg and got the infection under control here in Northern Virginia. But once we elected to have limb salvage and really went down that path, all my films from there on out over the next 2 years continue to go down to the team of doctors and physicians down at the Center for the Intrepid. So it's like I had this great dream team of doctors that were bouncing off of each other, and I had so much input from the best of the best. And then on top of that, also the rehab. This had never happened in sports. Most civilians obviously just want to get back onto their feet and some level of functionality. And here, I was talking about playing football again. Right. There was no roadmap. There was no roadmap for that. And so it was really the military, and they were the only people that had done it, are, servicemen and women that had gone back to an elite level, that had suffered injuries like mine and even more severe, that had gone back to serve this country, which is obviously amazing. So that was the program I followed. That was the roadmap. That was the rehab that really, for a long time I was going, until finally there towards the end, I veered to put cleats on and went back out on the field. So, so thankful for it. And really, I think the biggest thing in all that I've left out is the mindset. The military, that when I went down there, the doctors, the physicians, the PTs from day one made it okay for me to think like that, and in a lot of ways even pushed me to think like that it's okay to put that out there, to have that goal, that it is achievable. The rest of the world, I felt like, was telling me what I couldn't do. And I went down there, and the military was the exact opposite. And these guys were daring me to dream about more and to speak it, and to put it out there, as scary as it was for me at that point. Because it was terrifying for me to talk about that. I was still obviously thinking about more important things like my family, but for them to plant that seed, looking back at it, it changed. It changed my recovery. It changed my rehab, changed how I attacked all those steps that led me to where I am now.
Yeah, we have a lot of wounded warriors on the program, and I've done some live shows where from different marathons where wounded warriors are participating, and you see these guys, with their prosthetics and their attitude. It's like, wow, I'll never feel sorry for myself again. After something like that.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
So it is amazing, and that it reminds me of my very first visit when I went down to San Antonio. And I got to visit the center. I was only a couple months into my injury. I couldn't walk. I had a circular external fixator bolted into my leg. I'm feeling really, sorry for myself at that point, wondering about my future and what I'd be able to do. And then I get down there and I visit the center, and I'm doing some physical therapy. And, you're looking around, and there's amputees, double amputees, people with way more significant injuries than me that are there and just kicking butt and making
fun of each other.
Yeah. And finding ways, and no doubt owning their injury. And that was very much for me, two things that I was having a lot of difficulty with. I couldn't even look at my leg. It was hard for me to think of it as a reality. Every day I woke up, having to go through that again in a sense that I would, I'm like, God, this is, I couldn't identify with my leg. I couldn't own it. And also, like I said, I was feeling sorry for myself. And you look around, I'm like, here's people doing way more, dealing with way more than I have to deal with, and just getting after it and finding ways. And it was more about what they could do, that mindset. It was about what they could go do. And they were doing it, and they were living, and they certainly weren't sitting there sulking.
Right. Well, and the cool thing that you did, Alex, was, you kind of put all your focus into giving back to the Intrepid with this new apparel line called Attitude is Free. Yep. And it's some cool stuff. AttitudeIsFree.com. I love some of the slogans that are on the shirts. My favorite is the bigger the setback, the greater the comeback. And I mean, nobody exemplifies that more than you, but 100% of the proceeds go to Intrepid, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. Obviously, like I said, I think it's such a perfect marriage, because mindset was everything that I felt like changed my rehab and my life at this point. And I got a lot of that from the center down there. And to have a clothing line here that a little bit kind of embodies that with Attitude is Free. It's we talk about controlling what you control, and every day you wake up, it's that and your attitude. And so it's a cool clothing line, and what better way certainly to remind other people when you wear it. But for me, every time I look in the mirror, to live it,
right.
If I'm gonna wear this on my hat or my chest, I better bring it today.
Right. And, you can't wear a shirt like that and mope around, can you?
That's right. No. And so, and 100% of the proceeds are going down to the Center for the Intrepid. So many of our servicemen and women have ended up settling down there in the area for the rest of their life.
Right.
Use that center. Because these are things and injuries that they're going to deal with for the rest of their life and are dealing with. So there's so many amazing programs and the people down there, and so be able to give back in just a little way. Obviously, I'm forever indebted, cool. and happy just to help a little bit.
Well, and it's blowing up, I understand. I guess there's a second collection coming out.
There already? Is a set. I feel like it's something I never thought I'd be doing, is making
I know. It is talking about apparel.
Yeah, it is comfortable. Right. It like I said, the messaging is awesome. I do think I've gotten a little better at it, so I'm pumped to get this second wave of stuff out, because I think it's even cooler, and again it's awesome. Really, really quality stuff, and it's going to an amazing cause.
Well, and you not only came back, you took your team to the NFC East. You won the NFC East. And what an accomplishment. And of course you get comeback player of the year, except for one guy. You got 49 out of 50 votes.
Yeah.
The other guy voted for Ben Roethlisberger.
He must have been a Steeler guy. Must have been a Pittsburgh guy.
it has to be a Steeler guy. Oh my gosh. That's fantastic.
Yeah, no question. Those are things that I never imagined in my wildest dreams that I would have been able to do. And I'm obviously so fortunate that things just kept progressing. I never hit the wall. The steps kept going, and I still feel like they're going. I still feel like I'm on that journey, and I'm so thankful there, because obviously there were things that I got back that were so important to me, and most importantly, my wife and kids, and being able to do things with them. And so loving that every day, and still attacking it, just trying to live with that same mentality, even though I'm at this point, still carry that same mentality that I'm going to live while I'm here, and I can do these things. And so to go out there and to chase them and really get after every day like that.
Yeah. Did you have the first time that you set foot on the football field and the game started? Was there,
yep.
what was going through?
Oh man. The range of emotions, from absolutely scared to death and terrified.
Yeah.
And then of the exhilaration, the excitement, the feeling alive, of putting yourself out there. So, it was hard to, describe all of that was happening and that I was feeling. But obviously an amazing sensation. And I never thought I'd get to feel that again. And again, thankful for it. And obviously it was an important step for me to know that I could handle getting tackled again. And I was okay. Yeah. I was okay out there.
Well, so every guy wants to know, Alex, what were the words you said to your wife to convince her to let you do that again?
Yeah, that's I talk about, my wife has done so many things and worn so many hats over the course of my recovery, from when I was completely helpless, and she was doing my IV pushes and my PICC line for so many months, and administering all of my shots and cleaning my wounds and my pin sites and my external fixator every other day. but the big one I think that jumps out to me is when I finally got medically cleared. It had been almost 2 years of my bone not being healthy, and I felt like it was never going to be healthy. And then we finally sat down with the doctors this last summer, and I got a round of imaging done, and they said, you're there. You're finally there. It was like I would never hear again. And then to hear those, and then to look to my wife and say, okay, are you okay if I go play football again? And for her, I think to have been through all of that,
right,
and to support me in that moment and to push me in that moment, both of those things I think I needed so bad, because I was terrified. I kind of wanted her to tell me, no, don't go do it.
Yeah, I don't have to do this now.
Yeah,
if you don't want me to.
Take the pressure off of me. So, but to have her support me in that moment after everything she had been through, obviously she's a special woman, and I'm pretty lucky.
Oh man, I'm telling you, your time here with the Chiefs, I want to thank you for everything that you did for the Chiefs. Do you look back on that fondly? Do you, playing for Andy Reid has got to be a thrill for any player, right?
You can't help but smile. The 5 years there that changed my life and my career forever. Starting with Big Red, starting with Andy,
right.
The love he has for football, what an amazing teacher and human being he is, and how much I learned, not just about football, but life under him. And then it just trickles down. The entire coaching staff, obviously all the teammates, so many of those guys that are still there. And then to see them to go even further, and obviously right. with Patrick, to see everything he's done and still be the person he is, I think so grounded, so right. humble in the face of such stardom. For me to even the smallest sliver of that, to have been a part of it.
He gives you so much credit.
It is an honor. It is an honor. And obviously, like I said, that so many buddies that are still on that team, and to see them go to the highest level and win it all, and the passion they play with, how fun they are to watch, even for me as a football fan, how fun they right. are to watch. And so right. I love it. I still text with those guys all the time. So many coaches and guys on that team. So incredibly happy for them, especially as I was dealing with all my stuff. It was amazing to watch them go on that run, and to do what they've done.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes, every time you hear him, gives you credit. I mean, he credits you for
too much.
Should he shut up about that? Should he just stop talking about you?
I mean, I never taught him to throw left-handed, or the look off throws, or any
right,
of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to talk to him since the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I texted him through it, and I think for me, most importantly, through that is obviously him. Bigger picture again. Obviously as bummed as he is, and right. they are to lose it, but I know he just welcomed his daughter into the world, and what an amazing right. experience that is, and a life-changing experience forever. So happy for him and Brittany in this next phase of their life, and obviously I think he'll have other opportunities.
Oh yeah.
Ahead of him, and
so
again,
too.
like I said, it's not only the player that he is, but the person that he has remained, so humble and down to earth, and like I said, in the face of unprecedented stardom.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so Alex, you turned 37 this year. Is that right?
That's right. Yep. Oh man.
Can you imagine playing until you're 43?
I feel well. I used to say that all the time. Like I felt like even when I got traded here to Washington, I still felt so young and had so much ahead of me. And then obviously these last couple of years of life throws curveballs at you, and you got to roll with the punches. I still feel like I said I'm on my journey of coming back. I still have so many things that I want to do, and that includes on the field. I felt like this year only further ignited that I have more to do out there. I got more ahead of me. I was a little unsure how my leg would hold up in the face, over the course of a season. And for me, I was only encouraged by it. I felt like the more I practiced, the better I felt. So anxious to keep pushing it.
Man, and we're anxious to keep seeing how far you can go too, man. What an inspiration. Did you have a favorite barbecue joint in Kansas City?
I mean, several. I'm not the guy. It's hard to always have one, you know.
Right.
I lived close to the plaza, so obviously Jack Stacks was so close. Joe's, I don't know how you beat Joe's
right
at that point. Obviously there, I towards the end, I loved, you know, I was close to Westport, so Q39,
yeah,
was one of my faves. Char Bar was obviously also a favorite. I kind of like some of the newer ones. So yeah, those were kind of a few of my standouts and regulars. I think.
Well, now the report came out today about Jeff Bezos. You heard that? Jeff Bezos,
I did not.
The founder of Amazon, is rumored to be buying your football team.
Really?
Yes.
News to me.
That just came out today.
I did not know that.
If that does happen, I've got a brand new nickname for you.
What's that?
Amazon Prime Time.
You heard it here first.
Alex, thank you so much for the time.
Randy, thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast.
It's just been such a pleasure. And man, again, just so inspiring. Really appreciate that. And once again, attitudeisfree.com is where you can go for the apparel. And just want to, and again, I mean, you were so inspired by the men and women of the military, and you give that right back. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
We'll be right back here on the National Defense.